Hi there, folks. Welcome back to Rich Reviews. I'm finally back after several weeks of not reviewing a movie, television show, or documentary. And like a whole lot of people out there in the YouTube sphere, I've decided to read Robert Eggers' The Northman. Now, let me confess, when I first saw the trailer for The Northman, I found myself thinking, oh wow, Robert Eggers has put his own particular spin on a Conan the Barbarian film in all but name. Alas, there's also part of me that was secretly hoping for an Arnold cameo in this film. Alas, it didn't happen. And so, let me personally confess, when I first saw Robert Eggers' first film, The Witch, I wasn't deeply impressed. I know a lot of people were just enraptured by The Witch. I wasn't. Although I admit there was some cool stuff in there, I just felt at the end, okay, so what? It's The Witch. It could have been something completely different, but we had to go with The Witch. Obviously, hence the title. I skipped The Lighthouse, and now with him being hailed as a visionary, I can officially come to understand why that about Robert Eggers. Apparently, he's currently in talks to direct his own particular vision of Nosferatu. Sure, I'm interested in seeing what he could do with that. The Norseman is sort of a cross between, say, a Nordic version of Hamlet with Conan and Game of Thrones thrown in there for good measure. And let me just say, like David Lowery's The Green Knight and with Ridley Scott's, The Last Duel, everyone is very dirty, does not skimp out on the blood and the gore. And thankfully, this is the rare type of film where I think to myself, hooray, congratulations, someone had the balls and vision to make an R-rated film and not water it down for PG-13 mass audience. This is 2 hours and 20 minutes. And sometimes people have to wonder, do I have 2 hours and 20 minutes to spare in my life? Although The Last Duel was 2 hours and 20 minutes itself, well, I think it was 2.5 hours. I deeply appreciated that film as well. So said in the late 890s, early 900s, tells the story of Hamlet, whose father is the king. Apparently, that guy is played by Ethan Hawke. I didn't realize it until after researching this film here. He obviously has a loving wife. He cares for his son. He obviously has tension with his brother. Now, quite frankly, as I said, this is Hamlet. Obviously, the brother murders the father. The son obviously runs off. Now, this film is also divided into chapters. Obviously, the bulk of this film takes place in Iceland, which I'll get to eventually. Now, as Hamlet grows up, he's revered in the land of rest as a fierce warrior. Now, I think one thing that should be noted here in this particular time, warfare is very brutal, and trust me, that's what I mean when it doesn't skip out on the gore, because things happen in warfare that I think to myself, who would want to live in that particular time period? Because let's face it, life is cheap, life is short, and if you don't die in battle or don't get slaughtered in battle by an invading army, you're hauled off and sold off into slavery. And basically that's where Hamlet learns that, oh yeah, his supposed uncle is now running a farming village in the boondocks that is Iceland. And apparently my parents are going to go to Iceland, and they'll probably, after seeing this film, after they come back from Iceland, and say like, oh yeah, I can verify, I know that area as well. And then obviously Hamlet meets up with a captured slave that happens to be Anya Taylor-Joy, one of, Eggers' regulars. And she happens to thing with potions, obviously, of course, let's face it, the dietary consumption needs of the 900s. Quite frankly, hey look, you're bound to have some food poisoning there, therefore potions might not always necessarily be necessary. Basically, he then meets up with his mother, who quite frankly sort of tells him off and forces him to see a couple of things he might not have basically come to realize here. Yes, Stellan Skarsgård is indeed buff, he's unrecognizable, and quite frankly, yes, as one good looking dude is hard on the body. And then we get some cameos by Odin and some very weird whack out stuff. William Dafoe pops in as a priest, and that's some whacked out material there for you. Now, let me personally state that not all 2 hour plus films are created equal. Some 2 hour, 15, 20 minute films can go on forever. This is the rare time where I feel like a 2 hour and 20 minute film doesn't go on forever. or I would love to see more of this world. If in the end, folks, The Northman is probably one of the best films I think I've seen all year long so far, and I doubt I'll probably see a better film than I will this year. And let me just say that I want to proudly proclaim this to be super awesome. Yes, folks. So, folks, The Northman, have you seen this? What did you think? Please put everything in the comment box below here, folks. As always, folks, like, comment, subscribe, and enrich yourself with knowledge. I'm Michael Rich, Rich Dude on Twitter. I'll see you next time, folks. Yes, hooray.